This week's gaming news runs under the motto Fun with Roadmaps, because we have some awesome updates coming for the games you love. And of course, some brand new wishlist material and stuff to play for free this weekend. If you've been a member of our awesome co-op community for a while, then first off, thanks a ton. We appreciate each one of you. But also, you probably know that we kinda dig those really dark fantasy game settings. And we know that some of you do too. So here is this week's very metal-looking contender called Annulus. This is an upcoming turn-based tactical RPG that blends kinda dark medieval aesthetics with some good old eldritch horror. And before you come at me with, this looks single-player Lumi, just know that we dug up half of the interwebs for more information on the co-op part. And we kinda found some answers, although, at least for now, it's a bit vague. There is confirmed multiplayer if you trust the Epic Store, and we also found a discussion on Steam where the dev team confirmed online social features, including guilds and cooperation. Also, we discovered that this was originally planned to release on mobile, but after the first CBT, those plans were scrapped in favor of a more intricate and polished PC release instead. With that in mind, and the genre mix of turn-based and tactical, doesn't this look a tiny bit like a darker Larian game? The devs also announced that the game will have some consequence-driven storytelling and exploration that rewards those who like to skim every corner of a map with rare gear and additional lore bits. This reminded us of old-school RPGs like Sacred, where you could wander for 30 minutes at the edge of the map and then find a dragon boss. True childhood story, by the way. On top of that, it seems like there is an evolution system for the mercenary group that you will be playing, which will feature around 40 different ones. And for everyone who fumbled with environmental traps and hazards in Divinity Original Sin and Baldur's Gate 3, behold, because that's coming back too. And if you're still listening at this point, they have a playtest running on Steam this weekend, and you can still sign up on their Steam page if you want a sneak peek. Maybe you remember how a while ago we talked about Jagex, the developers behind RuneScape, and their plans to modernize the game, make it more accessible for players new and old, and most importantly, get rid of the luck-based microtransactions, which I will not call gacha or gamba, because people tend to get really upset whenever we mention them. Oh, oops. Anyway, for the 25th anniversary of RuneScape, we've got a brand new roadmap. And as two casuals who haven't touched the game in ages, you know, because of the bad thing that rhymes with Mamba, we gotta say, their plans actually sound pretty neat. They have already removed Treasure Hunt, the chance-based keys and chests. Some visual upgrades have also made their way to the game, with a cleaner UI, reworked zones, and a toggle to hide other players' cosmetics. You know, when your guildies tend to look like your neighbor's house on Christmas. Next up is a modernization of the game's combat, rolling out over the next few months. And speaking of modern MMO design, spending your day doing dailies is a thing of the past as well, as they want to tone that down a lot and focus more on fun again. Then, in April, the new Havenhithe expansion arrives, adding the largest zone since the game's launch and tons of new content. But wait, there's more. Player models are getting a facelift away from that polygon look. And in summer, all housing enthusiasts get to enjoy some massive upgrades, with lots of new furniture and the feature to host parties in your digital home for all your friends, neighbors, and arch enemies, because why not? Watching the stream and researching all these changes really made us consider checking RuneScape out again. Because, you know, the newer MMORPGs lately haven't really delivered for us. And this might just fill the MMO-shaped void for a while. Enshrouded just marked its second year in early access, the perfect time to share their roadmap for 2026. Keen Games confirmed that the full 1.0 release is planned for fall 2026, with consoles coming later. To bridge the gap, a small hotfix landed the very next day. It adds a new Vanity Armor set available through Twitch drops and brings some combat improvements. These include clearer damage indicators, more reliable projectile behavior, and better parry animations for the 3 people out there that actually use strategy during battle. But the real highlights will follow throughout the year, as Keen plans to expand the multiplayer side of the game. Enshrouded already supports servers with up to 16 players, which makes base building and exploration feel surprisingly communal for a survival game. So, in spring 2026, we will get the new feature called Adventure Sharing. This feature lets players share their own worlds or builds with others to visit and play through them. With the 1.0 launch, Adventure Sharing moves into its second iteration and gets some proper creation tools. Things like enemy spawners, traps, and simple logic systems are meant to make custom challenges possible. We clearly see a trend in RPGs these days. Great swords and editors. Performance is also a big focus, with improvements not just to in-game mechanics, but behind the scenes as well, making the game more stable and overall smoother. The end of early access also won't be the end of development, as they stated that Embervale is just one region, and many more will follow in the future, with some content planned as DLCs. We probably won't hear much from Nox once they roll out the first draft of the logic-based building parts, but I'm still hyped for the 1.0 launch. I'm gonna be honest with you. When we first came across the roguelite horde survivor game Jotun Slayer, we were so disappointed that it was single player only. It looked perfect for co-op, just like a facelifted version of Vampire Survivors, and embedded into Norse mythology, which is important if you're looking for a bullet hell game to play with someone who really digs great graphics. Well, fast forward to today, and Odin has heard our pleas, because co-op playtesting has officially started. And if you own the game, you can just join in and give them your feedback to make the best co-op version possible. For now, it will be limited to duos, possibly opening up to more players later, but not confirmed yet. You can play in online co-op via Steam Remote Play or locally in couch co-op. Just beware, of course, that this is a playtest for now. Jotun Slayer is, as I said, primarily a bullet hell game. So it has the typical sort of roguelite progression system, where you kill hordes of monsters to earn XP, and leveling up grants you more powerful abilities and weapons. But when you compare it to Vampire Survivors, it not only looks better in terms of graphics, and not to forget the artwork looks really good, but also has some missions and objectives and unlockables to keep it interesting in the long term. Forget bases, walls, or anywhere that feels permanent. Dead Hikers is built around the idea that survival only works while you keep moving, preferably without constantly tripping over random stuff. Take some notes, horror movies. By day, you navigate rough wilderness with nothing but a map, a compass, and whatever gear you can carry. And this is exactly where things get real, literally. Your character can't sprint forever, nor carry half of your household on their back like in your average RPG. Which means swamps will slow you down, hills need to be climbed, and every detour costs time and stamina. On the other hand, you have a backpack with limited space, forcing constant decisions about what stays and what gets left behind. When night falls, the gameplay shifts completely. You set up a temporary camp, some simple defenses, and try to make as little noise as possible. One careless movement or poorly timed action can draw unwanted attention from whatever lurks out there. And once it notices you, the only option is combat. Again, with the skill of your average hiker. So in short, you're screwed. There is co-op for up to 4 people, where you can split roles, especially at night. Solo play is possible, but the design strongly favors groups watching each other's backs. There's even proximity chat, which, interestingly enough, doesn't seem to factor into the whole stay as quiet as possible idea. Figures. So you'll have to find other ways to silence that one chatterbox in your group. Albion Online just revealed their roadmap, and they got plenty of highlights lined up. Not only will we get 1v1 arenas, an armory, and a whole new map, but the game will also launch on Xbox. With player numbers expected to rise, the stage is set for a massive server-wide event, reminiscent of the 2019 invasions. And finally, in midsummer, dragons are added, serving both as boss encounters and as natural catalysts for PvP clashes. Cloudheim just got its biggest update yet, adding a whole new storm-themed map, 2 new playable characters, Harker and Freya, and a bunch of combat and skill overhauls. All with some quality of life tweaks, better progression systems, and a new name-giving endless dungeon trial, Vault of the Gods. And to celebrate, the game is currently 34% off. And if you can get enough of endless modes, mainly because they're endless, you are in luck. Because FBC Firebreak also got a big update called Rogue Protocol, bringing the endless shift mode to the game. And what sounds like pure pain at work is actually a roguelite horde survival mode where you face escalating waves of Hiss in the oldest house. Survive rounds, earn corruption points, and spend them on enhancements and unlockable weapons. There are also some tweaks to the UI, tutorials, and overall flow of the game. And again, to celebrate, the game is currently off 60% on Steam until February 2nd. The long-awaited Together co-op update for No Rest for the Wicked has left the test servers and is now live on Steam. With the game also hitting the 1 million sales milestone, everyone gets to celebrate with a free weekend running until January 26th. And if you end up liking it, there's currently a 40% discount as well. And now I feel as if we were one of those 90s teleshopping channels. But unfortunately, we don't get anything for it. Except maybe you striking a great deal, which is awesome enough really. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. And as always, we wish you tons of fun in co-op with your favorite people. And we'll see you again in the next one.